Most men believe the only way to make a woman want them is if she's already interested. Wrong. Attraction doesn't start where you think. It can be created out of thin air if you know how to play it right. A woman doesn't have to like you at first glance for desire to take root. In fact, some of the strongest obsessions start with zero interest. Here's the truth. Women respond to energy, not begging, not convincing, not chasing. And when your energy triggers the right emotions inside her, she can't help but feel pulled toward you. She'll start noticing you when she never did before. She'll begin thinking about you when she didn't care yesterday. She'll catch herself craving your attention and not even know why. Today, I'm going to reveal the psychology that flips indifference into desire and desire into obsession. Point 1. Control the frame. Become the prize. If she isn't interested, the worst thing you can do is try to make her interested. Neediness is repellent. Attraction doesn't grow where approval-seeking lives. Your first move isn't a line, a gift, or a performance. It's frame control. Frame is the invisible energy that says, I am the prize. You can come into my world if you qualify. When your frame is solid, you stop reacting to her temperature and start setting the temperature. She senses it immediately. Here's what that looks like in real life. You don't overshare. You don't rush to fill silences. You don't turn every small smile into a proposal. You speak slowly, succinctly, and with purpose. Your eye contact is steady, never pleading. Your body is relaxed, shoulders down, chest open, feet planted. You're not auditioning for her attention. You're evaluating if she fits your standards, values, lifestyle, emotional maturity. That subtle shift flips the power dynamic without a single pickup line. Most men ruin this by chasing proof they want her to validate them. Long texts, instant replies, constant reassurance. That's boy energy. A man lets the dust settle. He sends short, clear messages that move things forward, or he moves on. He can enjoy her presence without needing her approval to feel valuable. That self-containment is rare, and rare is attractive. Indifference is not rudeness, it's outcome independence. You'd like this to go somewhere, but you don't need it to. You've got purpose, friends, training, work, standards. You're already full. When she tests your frame, late replies, mild teasing, small withdrawals, you do not spiral. You don't defend, explain, or chase. You stay calm and reset the vibe with light humor or a graceful exit. Stability is sexy because it communicates. With me, the ground doesn't shake. Women feel that. Practically, keep interactions tight and textured. Mix genuine curiosity with boundaries. Ask one meaningful question, then let silence work for you. Hold eye contact when she answers. If she flakes, you don't punish or plead. You simply reopen once, then disappear. Scarcity multiplies value. Meanwhile, you invest in your life so your presence carries weight. Style dialed in, body maintained, mission advancing. The more alive your world is, the more she'll want a ticket. Frame control is the ignition key. It turns not interested into curious, and curiosity is the first step toward desire. You're not convincing her. You're inviting her to step into a reality where you already win. Point 2. Trigger her curiosity. Become unpredictable. If a woman isn't interested at first, the last thing you should do is act like every other guy she's ever met. Predictability is death to attraction. Most men play it safe. They talk about work. They agree with everything she says. They never challenge her. They never surprise her. And what happens? She categorizes them as nice, harmless, forgettable. You can't make her want you by being the same as everyone else. You spark desire by breaking patterns and forcing her to see you differently. Here's the truth. Curiosity is the bridge between indifference and attraction. A woman who doesn't care about you yet will lean in the moment she starts wondering, who exactly is this guy? Why do I feel different around him? And you create that reaction not with money, not with endless compliments, but with unpredictability. Instead of answering her questions the way everyone else does, flip the script. If she asks, "So what do you do?" don't give her a dry resume answer. Say something intriguing that makes her want to ask more. "I solve problems most people run away from." Leave it there. Let her chase for the details. Instead of instantly liking every message she sends, sometimes respond after a pause with something playful that throws her off balance. Keep the conversation light, but lace it with moments of challenge. Tease her, question her opinions, make her laugh at unexpected angles. Most men try too hard to prove they're worthy. They overshare, they over-explain, they try to convince her why she should like them. That's weakness disguised as effort. The man who draws her in is the one who doesn't give away everything at once. He lets her peel back layers slowly. Each interaction feels like opening another chapter in a book she can't put down. And here's the psychological trigger. When she doesn't fully get you, her mind stays busy replaying the interaction. She thinks about your words later, wondering what you meant. She talks to her friends about you, trying to decode you. That mental investment is the seed of attraction. Remember, if she's thinking about you when you're not around, you've already won half the battle. Unpredictability creates emotional spikes, and emotional spikes create obsession. When she can't quite pin you down, when she never knows what's coming next, she won't ignore you. She'll lean closer, engage deeper, and start craving more. That's how you turn her curiosity into desire. Point 3. Spark emotional contrast. Make her feel something. A woman doesn't fall for you because of facts. She falls because of feelings. Logic doesn't create desire. Emotion does. And here's where most men fail. They stay flat. Same tone, same energy, same boring rhythm. They never create emotional highs and lows, so she never feels that spark. If she's not interested yet, the way to flip her mindset is to make her experience emotions she wasn't expecting to feel around you. Once she feels, she invests. Think about it. When she talks to the average guy, he keeps it safe. Polite questions, predictable replies, maybe a forced compliment or two. She leaves that conversation feeling nothing. But when she talks to you, she should feel like she just stepped onto a roller coaster. One moment she's laughing because you teased her in a playful way. The next, she's leaning in because you suddenly dropped something deep, something real about life. That push and pull, that mix of lightness and depth creates tension. And tension is the gasoline of attraction. Practical example. If she tries to test you with sarcasm, don't get defensive or quiet. Flip it back on her with a smirk and a sharper joke. That's playful friction. It creates chemistry. Then, later in the conversation, drop a moment of calm eye contact and say something that shows depth like, "You know what most people never figure out?" That comfort kills more dreams than failure ever will. Suddenly, she's not just laughing, she's thinking. She feels the shift. She realizes you're more than just surface-level fun. Most men either stay too serious or too silly. You have to balance both. You create contrast. Fun mixed with gravity, teasing mixed with depth. This contrast keeps her off balance in the best way possible. Why? Because emotions are addictive. When she feels different layers of herself being pulled out by you, she can't ignore it. Her mind connects you to those feelings. Every time she thinks of you, she replays that emotional ride. That's how she goes from indifferent to hooked. Here's the secret. If you can make her laugh, challenge her, intrigue her, and inspire her, all in one interaction, she'll start to feel something she doesn't feel with most men: chemistry. And once chemistry is there, desire follows. Interest can be created. Attraction can be sparked. And obsession, that begins when she realizes you're the only man who can make her feel that alive. Point 4. Create scarcity. Don't be too available. If a woman isn't interested, the worst mistake you can make is throwing yourself at her. Attention is cheap when it's unlimited. Most men hand it out like free samples at the mall. Constant texts, instant replies, desperate attempts to stay on her radar. And what happens? She devalues it. Why? Because human psychology works this way. What's abundant feels disposable. What's scarce feels valuable. If you want her desire to grow, you must become a man who is not always available. Scarcity doesn't mean ignoring her or playing childish games. It means you have a life so full, so rich, that she knows she isn't the center of it. You have purpose, friends, work, fitness, hobbies. Your world is already spinning without her. When she sees this, it triggers something powerful. She realizes she has to earn her spot in your orbit, instead of you begging for a ticket into hers. That subtle shift flips the script completely. Think about it. If every time she messages you, you respond instantly with paragraphs of attention, she knows you're sitting around waiting. There's no mystery. But if you reply when it fits into your life, short, clear, confident responses, she starts to wonder what else you're doing. She begins to imagine you out living, working, socializing, progressing. Curiosity builds. Curiosity turns into attraction. Most men are terrified of space. They think if they don't constantly feed her attention, she'll forget about them. Wrong. Space is what gives your presence weight. When she doesn't hear from you for a while, she replays your last interaction in her mind. She starts wondering, why hasn't he messaged yet? Who is he with? What's he doing? That mental loop is desire working in your favor. She invests because she feels the absence of you. Here's the catch. Scarcity only works if your presence is powerful when you are around. If every interaction is dull, disappearing won't help. But if your time with her is electric, fun, challenging, intriguing, then your distance becomes a magnet. She craves it. She waits for it. She starts chasing it. So remember, don't give unlimited access. Don't overexpose yourself. Value your time, your energy, your attention. Because the man who's everywhere is wanted by no one, but the man who's rare is chased by everyone. Scarcity creates value, and value creates desire. That's how you flip her from indifferent to intrigued, and from intrigued to obsessed. Point 5. Use tension to your advantage. Attraction is not born in comfort. It's born in tension. That sweet, electric feeling where she wants more but doesn't fully have you yet. Most men destroy this by either smothering her with constant validation or avoiding tension altogether because they're afraid of making things awkward. But awkwardness is only a problem when you lack confidence. When you know how to hold tension, it becomes the most powerful weapon you have to flip disinterest into desire. Think about it. When you hold strong eye contact a second longer than normal, she feels it. When you pause before answering, she leans in. When you tease her with a smirk instead of rushing to agree, her emotions spark. These are micro moments of tension, and they work because they force her to feel something. That feeling lingers. It keeps her thinking about you long after you're gone. Most men run from silence. They think every gap in the conversation has to be filled with words. Wrong. Silence, when you own it, is magnetic. You let her feel your presence. You let her wonder what you're thinking. You let her imagination do the work for you. A man who is comfortable in silence radiates dominance and control. That's the kind of energy women can't ignore. Here's where tension flips into obsession, when she can't predict how you'll respond. One moment you're playful, the next you're serious. One moment you lean in, the next you lean back. You're not chaotic, you're deliberate. You give just enough, then pull back. You let her taste, but not devour. That push and pull keeps her hooked because she never feels like she fully has you. And the human mind obsesses over what it can't fully claim. But here's the mistake. A lot of men mistake tension for games. They go overboard, becoming cold, distant, or arrogant. That's not tension. That's rejection. Real tension balances heat with connection. You tease, but you also listen. You hold silence, but you break it with charm. You challenge her, but you also reward her when she leans in. That balance keeps the fire alive without burning it out. So remember this. Attraction grows in comfort, but obsession grows in tension. When she's replaying the way you looked at her, the way you made her laugh, the way you made her wait before leaning closer, that's when she's hooked. Most men fear tension. The wise man uses it as fuel, and that's why he wins. Point 6. Lead with purpose, not approval. A woman may not feel interested at first, but what shifts her attraction is seeing that you live with direction. Most men make the fatal mistake of leading with approval. They try to win her by bending, pleasing, and seeking permission. But attraction doesn't grow where approval-seeking lives. Attraction grows when she feels your sense of purpose is bigger than her validation. When your life already has momentum, she wants to be pulled into it. Think about it. A man with no mission becomes a man who revolves around a woman. He cancels his gym session because she texted. He ditches his goals because she's free tonight. He reshapes his identity just to keep her interested. And what happens? She loses respect. Why? Because deep down, every woman wants to feel like she's joining a man's world, not creating his world for him. Leading with purpose doesn't mean being cold or distant. It means you show her that your time has value, that your energy is invested in something meaningful. When she sees you training, working, building, learning, without chasing her approval, her perception shifts. You're no longer another guy trying to impress. You're a man moving forward, and she has to decide whether to keep up. That subtle shift puts you in control. Here's the psychological trigger. Humans desire what feels scarce and valuable. A man who knows where he's going is rare. A man who is unmoved by approval is even rarer. When she realizes her presence doesn't control your emotions, her curiosity spikes. She wonders, what makes him so grounded? Why doesn't he need me to validate him? Why do I feel like I want his attention even more now? That internal dialogue is attraction taking root. Most men ruin this by over-explaining their lives, over-justifying their choices, or bragging in an attempt to look purpose-driven. But bragging is still seeking approval. It's just disguised. The real power move is calm consistency. You show up to your mission with or without her. You let your actions, your discipline, and your focus speak louder than words. When a woman sees that you're a man with a path, a man who isn't begging her to complete him, she starts to feel pulled in. She respects you first. Respect turns into admiration. Admiration turns into attraction. And attraction, when tied to purpose, turns into obsession, because she realizes you're the kind of man who won't be swayed, and that makes her want you even more. Point 7. Build mystery. Never let her fully figure you out. Attraction fades when she thinks she has you completely figured out. Predictability kills desire. If you want to flip indifference into interest and interest into obsession, you must master the art of mystery. Mystery doesn't mean lying, playing childish games, or pretending to be someone you're not. It means you reveal yourself in layers. You give just enough for her to lean forward, but never so much that she feels she's solved the puzzle. Think about it. When a man lays his entire life story on the table in the first few conversations, he eliminates the chase. She has nothing left to uncover, no reason to wonder, no spark of curiosity. But when you reveal things gradually, she begins to think about you when you're not around. She replays your words. She wonders what you meant. She starts asking herself questions she can't answer because you didn't give her all the answers. That loop inside her mind is where obsession begins. Here's the key. Mystery isn't silence, it's selectivity. You speak with intention. You drop hints instead of full explanations. If she asks about your past, you might give a piece, but you leave the rest for another time. If she pushes to know everything about your plans, you give enough to spark intrigue, not enough to close the book. You let her earn the right to unlock deeper parts of you. That scarcity of access makes your presence more valuable. Most men ruin this by oversharing or bragging, thinking it will impress her. Instead, it kills the magic. Women aren't obsessed with men they can read like a children's book. They're obsessed with men who feel like novels, layered, complex, worth turning the page for. Mystery keeps her imagination busy. And when her imagination is busy with you, she bonds herself to the image of you she creates in her mind. Here's the psychological trigger. People chase what they don't fully possess. When she feels like she hasn't figured you out yet, she invests more energy trying to. She leans in closer. She asks deeper questions. She pays sharper attention. Every new layer she uncovers makes her feel rewarded, and every unanswered question makes her crave more. So remember this, never put all your cards on the table. Keep her guessing, keep her intrigued, keep her curious. Because curiosity grows into desire, and desire, when it never feels fully satisfied, becomes obsession. Conclusion. Now you see the truth. Attraction isn't a lottery ticket. You either win or lose. It's something you can create, amplify, and transform. The average man thinks he has to wait for a woman to be interested before he acts. The powerful man knows interest can be built. From controlling the frame, sparking curiosity, creating emotional contrast, and using scarcity, to holding tension, leading with purpose, and keeping mystery alive. These are not tricks. They are fundamentals of human psychology. Most men sabotage themselves by chasing too hard, giving too much, or revealing everything too soon. They kill the very spark they're trying to ignite. But the man who understands this game plays it differently. He doesn't rush. He doesn't beg. He doesn't overexpose himself. He becomes the prize, the man with presence, the man with purpose. And that is exactly why she begins to feel the pull. Attraction is the spark. Obsession is the fire. If you master these principles, you won't just make her notice you. You'll make her crave you. You'll be the thought she can't escape, the standard she compares every other man to, and the mystery that keeps her hooked long after you leave the room.